I just wanted to explain some things about using source control. I'm recording this to help fix a specific issue on a pull request, but I thought this would be um, a good overview of kind of how to handle some version control things. So this is VS Code right now that you see here, um, using the language navigator project. Although you see it's called lang metadata because it was originally called lang metadata, and I haven't updated it. So this is probably correct. But let's see. You see the general thing where I have the README file opened. You see the file tree over here. Now, what I want to talk about is how to use source control. In particular, the thing I want to resolve is kind of we have this kind of uh, pile of commits that we need to kind of filter through and try to fix. Now, the VS Code has this regular source control widget over here. It gives you some information here. You can see kind of like the commit history. You see some branching and things like that happened. Um, um, but this is what comes with VS Code. You may have to enable your link your GitHub account. But I actually don't use this that often. I actually prefer to use this instead. So this is called the interactive git log. It's also called smart log. And it doesn't usually come with VS Code, but here you see this kind of graphical representation of these branches. You see these like kind of different things I have in progress, or I have different branches, and you see like this branch here about showing census records for locales that I've posted a PR for it. So it says review required, and so this has been a really nice way to manage things. And you see down here, this is the problematic commit history that we're going to fix. And you see there's quite a few things here. In order to be able to see this kind of visual interactive git log or smart log, there's this button here, but you don't usually have it natively in VS Code. But if you go to the extension marketplace, you see there's a bunch of extensions. And if you search for smart log, you'll see the interactive git log, smart log, over here. And I think this is a fantastic utility. It's been very useful for me. I will note I usually use this in combination with the GitHub desktop here. This can be very useful, but the different interfaces have their own advantages. So I kind of actually use a hybrid combination of both. In any case, so what we want to do here is so we have this commit history. Now some of these commits are rather small. So if I click on a specific commit, you see over here the kind of things that are changed. Sometimes there's like weird non-changed commits that can happen. There's the if you're not doing if you're not comfortable with how you're doing commits, that can happen. And then you see down here this last commit is a merge commit, and you see there's a bunch of files that are changing. The problem is because the master branch has changed, but this git stack is not changed. We have this disconnect, and so we tried to merge things back. But now if we go to the PR in GitHub, it suddenly is talking about making all these changes that are unrelated to the change you're making. So what we want to do is we want to actually rebase what you have here. And so so we have your commit history. So for master, we want to make sure we have the latest copy of master. So you want to pull the latest copy, make sure it's up to date. And so the master branch here will change. Now we can go back to the branch that you have. Now, there's two things we can do. One thing is we can edit the stack. So for instance, there's this there's this commit here that doesn't actually have any changes. So we can edit the stack, and we can even drop that change from the stack. Save changes, and now that one commit's gone. It had do some edits to the tree, but what it does is for here, for instance, you see these two files. So there's core data here, and there's this one accidentally deleted it, and so we want to kind of fix that. And but if we look over here, you see that core data that you did make a change here. Now it looks like the change. It's showing us an error here, so this IANA variance that are passed in here. This is good. This is definitely what we want to do. The other file hasn't updated yet, and so but I know you did that later on in the file, so it's something we'll have to do. But for instance, like this kind of back and forth here, you can squash commits. That's what this is. Again, so I'm clicking Edit Stack, and I can squash those commits to the one that is here. Save the changes. There sometimes like merge conflicts happen, but I'm just checking right now. Yeah, like there's a few things going on, but it looks like at the end of the day things are good. Yeah, still like there's some kind of these like non-change changes. So yeah, so like at the end of the day, what we can do is we can squash a lot of the changes that you made. So that's what I'm going to do here. Now this change you hear, this is just a merge change. So I actually I feel like what we want to do, we want to squash all of the changes you've made, and we want to actually just remove this merge. This merge is doing weird things. So that's what we're doing. So now we're back to the original change that you made, where you added this text file, you modified this TypeScript file, and then you also worked on this file. Now things don't exactly work up. You see there's some warnings that we have because this file doesn't actually exist, for instance. Like it's there's some work to do. But let's what we want to do is we want to rebase it. And there's a number of ways to rebase it, and I'm still learning things about it. But the easiest thing is to click this button. And now this is caught up to what the master is. If one of these other PRs lands before this does, then this will also update. And so, but you see this is now, it's not this like kind of crazy back and forth of changes. It's now just one change that you can see. And so you can click this button here. I'm not going to do it because this would alter your version. But this, you'd click push and it would push the changes. Now, there's two kinds of pushes. One is the regular push, and one's a force push. I think the GitHub desktop interface is actually going to show us a little better. So you see here you see this pull origin command that there's this like 6 up and 11 down. That's because there's a lot of changes that happened back and forth in order for us to squash those commits and rebase it to master. And if we click that, it's going to cause this whole cycle of merging. We don't want to deal with that. And so what we're actually going to want to do is instead we want to force push to origin, because we know we're otherwise on the latest copy of master. The reason there's so many changes is that we weren't on it before, and so we'd rather want to force push it. So we don't have to worry about all these kind of merge commits because it just gets everything so muddled. And this button in VS Code here, this push button, will also accomplish the same thing. Yeah. So so if you force push it here, or you click the VS Code button, now the PR will be much cleaner to see, and we won't have this kind of merge conflicts. I hope this overview was helpful. We can definitely talk more. Thank you so much for contributing. I look forward to adding this to the code.